until the 22nd, when the 2023 WRC Safari Rally kicks off for 3 days. We thank you for flagging off the series of activities in that regard. Tomorrow, actually, as part of that series, we will be hosting a special dinner for the legends of rallying, the people who have made that history of 70 years. And some of them, Your Excellency, are here with you. Allow me to acknowledge them. We have Mr. Patrick Njiru in the house. Patrick, please rise. We want to acknowledge you. Where is Patrick? Where is Patrick? Patrick was with us. Patrick is the one who flagged you off, Your Excellency, earlier today. He may have stepped out. We also have Mr. Carl Tundo. Carl is another legend of rallying. And in the spirit of tapping our legends to help us manage the revival of sports in this country, Mr. Carl Tundo is actually the chairman of the local organizing committee of the Safari Rally 2023, bringing his long experience to. Carl, we acknowledge you. We also have in the house Mr. Phineas Kimathi, another rallying legend in his own right. And Your Excellency, Mr. Kimathi also serves as the CEO of the Safari Rally project, again bringing that long history and experience to the game of rallying. And I want to acknowledge the whole WRC Safari Rally family that has come for the activation of our 70th anniversary celebration, starting with the Secretariat tunawatambua, the officers from the Secretariat, going to our youngsters who will be flying our flag. Our youngsters, tafadhali simameni. Your Excellency, we are investing in young people, and these youngsters will be flying the Kenyan flag behind the wheel. And for the first time ever, as part of celebrations to mark the 70th anniversary, government is sponsoring all-girl cruise. All-girl cruise. And I want to ask our all-girl cruise to rise, led by Pauline Shegu, so that we can acknowledge you. Our all-girl cruise. Those are all-girl cruise, and they are being supported by government through the Ministry of Youth Affairs, the Arts and Sports, Asanteni Sana. And so I want to acknowledge the journey we have traveled. And Your Excellency, for this year, we have 20 countries represented in the WRC segment of the rally. Finland, Estonia, France, Great Britain, Belgium, Spain, Japan, Ireland, Greece, Sweden, Poland, Luxembourg, Czech Republic, Germany, Italy, Canada, Paraguay, Kenya, of course, Uganda, and Tanzania. This is going to be a very impressive gathering of the best rally drivers from across the world. And to all of them, we are telling you, Karibu Kenya, the land of Hakuna Matata. This is that land. Your Excellency, talanta hela. And many Kenyans may be wondering, what exactly is talanta hela? What is this all about? Talanta hela, Your Excellency, is a consolidation, a convergence of all the thinking that your administration has had right from the plan, the manifesto that brought your administration in power. When you go to that manifesto, you talk about the sports apparel's value chain, it is in the plan. When you talk about monetization of content, it is in the plan. When you talk about promoting Kenya as a destination of choice for filmmakers, it is in the plan. And so the long and short of it, Your Excellency, is that talanta hela has consolidated the thinking that your administration has had, even before you came to power, on how to deploy sports and the creatives as a key driver of our economic revival and our economic development. That's what we have done. And now, riding on the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, we have consolidated all that into a policy frame, which we are calling Talanta Hela. Your Excellency, it must be acknowledged that we inherited a mess as we came to office, a total mess. Speaking about the space, you graciously have allowed me to manage on your behalf and on behalf of the people of Kenya. We inherited a sporting arena that was in disarray. Football had been suspended by FIFA for over a year. There was no football completely. Doping had reached such a crisis level that Kenya was on the verge of being banned by World Athletics. Essentially, our sporting arena was grinding to a halt. Your Excellency, the whole creative space was scattered all over the place. Never before had there been an effort to join all these dots you have seen here today. The dot of film, music, fashion, pageantry, talk about acrobatics, and all that, what you can call the whole creative space. It was scattered all over the place. Your Excellency, that is the mess we inherited. And the first agenda, you instructed me as your cabinet secretary in this space, was to steady the ship. We steadied the ship. We engaged the FIFA, as you know, Your Excellency, in record time. And within 1 month, Kenya was back to international football. And in the last 6 months, Your Excellency, we have taken time to consolidate all the thinking from the plan, from better, and we are now able to present to you an implementable, coherent program called Talanta Hela. As we do this, Your Excellency, I want to assure you that we are walking this journey with everybody that matters. We are anchoring this program on partnerships. And I want to acknowledge those who have defined our sporting legacy over the years. We have representatives in this audience, Your Excellency, from all sporting federations. All the federations that manage sport, they are in this entire current Harambee Stars football team is in the house here with us, led by Captain Mike Olunga. Mike, together with your team, please rise so that we can acknowledge you. Harambee Stars. Mike, together with your team, the whole team, and Coach Firat, may you rise. That is the Harambee Stars. This team is right now preparing to start the journey to the World Cup 2026 with the qualifiers that start in November. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Na safari ya kesho hupangwa leo. We have started early preparations to make this team competitive as they get to the qualifiers for World Cup 2026. They are already in camp. I visited them yesterday and gave them financial support to enable them travel to Mauritius tomorrow to participate in a 4-nation tournament that is part of their preparations. And so, Your Excellency, you instructed me to steady this ship and to fix the mess. And this is what we are doing, sir. This is exactly what we are doing. Your Excellency, let me also acknowledge the athletes, some of our greatest athletes who are here with us, led by the President of Athletics Kenya, General Retired Jackson Tuwei. Jackson, if you are in the house, please rise. We want to acknowledge you, General, together with our entire athletics team. I have seen Mary Mora, who ran very well in the 800 meters the other day in Morocco. We acknowledge you, Mary. Acknowledge you, Mary Mora, together with all the other athletes who have come here today. And the message we are sending, let me also acknowledge the president of the National Olympics Committee of Kenya, the legend, Dr. Paul Targat. Dr. Targat, if you're in the house, Dr. Targat may not be here, but I want to acknowledge Dr. Targat because between Athletics Kenya and the National Olympics Committee and government, we are waging a total war against doping. A total war against doping. And we are saying we shall win the war against doping. Your Excellency, you hosted here Lord Sebastian Coe, the president of World Athletics. We gave a guarantee that we shall win the war against doping. And we are working with all these athletes in that respect. Your Excellency, revival of our sports is therefore the first agenda in this whole Talanta Hela journey. But as we do that, as we revive, as we steady the ship, there are a couple other things which we are doing in that space. Number one, we are investing in talent development. And Your Excellency, of course, you know, because you have given these instructions, that we invest in an ecosystem of academies so that we can grow talents from the grassroots coming up. And we are doing academies in schools, in communities, and in all the stadia that are run under government. Your Excellency, even as we develop academies, we must invest in the current players, in the current generation of players. And we are therefore actively commercializing the game, commercializing sports. And one of the things that we have sorted, I'm glad because Kenyans are asking about this, is that they no longer see live broadcasts, that they no longer see sponsorship. Your Excellency, again, with your leadership and with your guidance, we have put together a mega package that will see the return of live broadcast and sponsorship for clubs participating in our leagues. And as you committed, again, harking back to the plan, as part of developing football from the grassroots, today, Your Excellency, you'll be flagging off the inter-county, bottom-up, grassroots football program that is part of that whole agenda. And I want to acknowledge our governors and their CECs for sports with whom I have traveled this journey since we started planning this. Part of Talanta Hela, Your Excellency, is also consolidating that creative space. And as I have already noted, It is the entire spectrum, from music to film to pageantry to fashion, as you have seen. And as you do that, Your Excellency, we want to start by joining the dots. We announced here last Friday that it all starts in our schools and in our colleges. And we have established an impressive system to tap these talents right from the school ecosystem. And that is why, even for purposes of consolidating that space, we have asked the two PSs, Your Excellency, PS Belio Kipsang here, Daktari, responsible for basic education and that school ecosystem, and PS Ismail Malim here, responsible for youth affairs and the arts. They are leading the journey of joining the dots of the school ecosystem to what Talanta Hela is doing. And we are doing it deliberately by even financing the activities that are happening in schools through the ministry. But as we do that, we want to see money flowing in the pockets of our creatives. The Talanta Hela logo you see behind us, Your Excellency, is a creation of young Kenyans. This logo was the winning logo in a competition we ran countrywide, and that competition was won by a young Kenyan called Job Ogweno. Job, are you in the house? If Job, you are in the house, please rise. That is Job Ogweno, the winner of the Talanta Hela logo competition. And for this competition, Job walked away with 300,000 pesa mfukoni as a way of acknowledging that talent. And the number 2, number 3 also got money for that. We have also deliberately moved, Your Excellency, to make sure that competitions in theater, in film, are also rewarded monetarily. And 2 months ago, for the first time, we rewarded winners of the Kenya Theatre Awards with 100,000 shillings per winner of the 37 categories. Again, to send that message clearly. As we do all this, Your Excellency, there are 2 things which we must fix. Number 1 is protection of intellectual property. We must make sure that the productions of our young people are IP protected. And one of the things that Talanta Hela is putting forth is a team of lawyers that will provide free legal services to our creatives as part of Talanta Hela. Riding with that, Your Excellency, is that we must sort out the issue of royalties, the payment of royalties to our creatives. Music alone is a mega industry that could generate up to 4 to 5 billion Kenya shillings a year. But that money is not reaching artists. And yesterday, Your Excellency, we pulled off a major coup by bringing together all the players in that space of collecting royalties. And so, Bwana Ezekiel Mutua and your team, simameni, kwa sababu nataka, where is the rest of your team? All the CMOs, Prisk, Camp, CSK, and your chairman. Your Excellency, we agreed yesterday that instead of having a scattered system where everybody's doing little things in their own small corners, we are consolidating the collection of royalties. And they signed an MOU, witnessed by myself, and we have agreed that by the end of this year, they'll be inviting you to hand out checks of millions of shillings to our artists. Ezekiel Mulikubali and my boss is here. We'll be waiting to see that happen. And Your Excellency, to help them deliver that, just like we did with the Hustler Fund, we want to take collection of royalties digital. And we have already written to WIPO to make available the WIPO system as the basis of digital collection and distribution of royalties. And as you do that, guys, we are chasing the international best practice, 80% to artists, 20% administrative costs. Your Excellency, we are also sorting out the question of levies. Yesterday, I released a gazette notice to raise the level of levies which had been wiped out through an error of a gazette notice in 2019, which had made it very difficult to raise collections of royalties. And that gazette notice will come out next week. And we are telling broadcasters, public service vehicles, entertainment, and hospitality spots where music is played. The same way you enjoy your drink and your food, and you pay for the food, and you pay for the music, and you pay for the drink and the food, and you forget that it's the music accompanying the drink and the food. We want you to pay for the drink, pay for the food, and pay for the music. And we have put together a foolproof system. We'll deploy Communications Authority. We'll deploy NTSA. And you governors, I'm coming to you with the respect to ask you to help us tie collection of royalties to business licensing, so that as hotels and pubs come for business licensing, collect royalties for us. And we'll show you how to distribute them through the CMOs. Finally, Your Excellency, we have accepted your instructions to convert the Permanent Presidential Music Commission to a Presidential Creatives Commission, so that we can have a broad platform right from the seat of State House, from the presidency, helping us to consolidate this space. Let me conclude, Your Excellency, by acknowledging our partnerships. As we drive this big agenda, we are working in partnerships with a lot of people who are helping us to make sure that the dots are joined. Thank you, Tres. Thank you for the MOU we have signed together. I want to thank the Grammys with whom we are concluding an agreement to make sure that the whole Grammy space is also reflected right here in Kenya. I want also to acknowledge Meta, the power behind Facebook and Instagram, and Google and YouTube, with whom we are working to consolidate monetization, especially for content creators. I thank you for that partnership. I also want to thank the government of Cuba and South Africa, with whom we have signed MOUs and agreements to cooperate in sports and the creative industries. For Cuba, for instance, we have agreed that some of our disciplines like boxing will receive specialized training in Cuba ahead of the next Olympics. For South Africa, we have entered an audio-visual co-production agreement so that our artists can collaborate in audio-visual production between Kenya and South Africa. We have initiated conversation with Antigua and Barbuda and China, whose ambassadors are here, in cooperating in the same space. And in this regard, let me acknowledge the ambassador of China, Your Excellency. We acknowledge you, Ambassador Ping Jian. Thank you very much for joining us. Ambassador Ping Jian of the People's Republic of China, and Ambassador of Antigua and Barbuda. Balozi, where is the Balozi of Antigua and Barbuda? He may not be in the house, but we are also progressing our partnership. And the representative of the Embassy of France. France, please rise so that we can acknowledge you. The French Republic, with whom we are also at an advanced stage of collaboration. Let me end by saying that as we drive this whole process, we are taking advantage of the digital space. Among the key ignitions that the president will flag off today is a digital platform we are calling Talanta Hela Digital Platform. It's a digital platform that is going to take all this action online. And on that platform, we'll be able to identify talent from the remotest parts of this country. Take an example of a young boy in Wajir who believes they can play football. They can take a 2-minute clip, go onto the Talanta Hela app, upload that clip, and it will be picked up in a command center, an assessment center that we have set up at the Kenya Academy of Sports, where we are populating with scouts and judges to be able to assess this talent and progress that talent. That app is going to revolutionize the way we undertake our sports. Ultimately, we have no doubt that Talanta Hela is what Kenya has been waiting for. Talanta